Hello and welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and I am about 4 minutes late today, so sorry. Just had a late start. Um, I'm excited about today's show. First, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my radio talk show. The 1st of May, 2016. I forgot what year it was. 2016, I started a new radio show and it's on iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio. You can actually download the free iHeart app and you can hear it anywhere in the world. So if you're on YouTube right now and you're tuning in and you're listening to this log, then you can actually download the iHeart radio app and you'll be able to hear my live radio show every Sunday. It's at from 5 p.m. to till 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So wherever you are in the world, you can listen to it. And I stream live and I archive the show. You can listen to it from my website, lisaakbari.com, or you can actually listen to it through your iHeartRadio or my website, or you can stream with me if you're up and at it, depending on what part of the world you are at. So today we're going to talk about the book. Let's get a picture of the book. The book. Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. And guys, it's week 16. Right. It is week 16. I am so uber excited about this because we're kind of winding things up and we're getting into the chapter of the book that is on the hair. And I know that is so crucial to you guys. But one of the reasons to get to the hair portion, my book is divided up into three really major parts. First, I started with the mind. How we think, how we view things as it relates to our hair really determines how well we take care of our hair and our scalp as well. Then we spoke about the scalp. Our scalp is skin. Our scalp is the largest organ on our body, and not our scalp, but the skin is the largest organ on our body. And our scalp is a part of that. And so really knowing how to take care of the scalp was crucial. So that was part 2. And then now we're on the hair. The hair portion on the Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. The hair portion is where we're going to talk about various things. As it relates to the hair, how to take care of the hair, how to really, at the end of the day, if I had to sum it up, it would be how to protect and preserve our hair strands so that you can have hair that you want and you desire, and to style it the way you want and desire now and for years to come. So you're not on that roller coaster of up and down. My hair is better today, tomorrow it's not. Whether you want to wear natural hair or whether or not you want to wear your hair chemically treated with relaxers or just chemically treated with color, whether you want to wear heated tools. All of this is about protecting and preserving your hair. So on week 16, the Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair, we are ready for the book. The book. Now, I'm going to do something that I always do. I'm going to start with, before we start on the book, and I'm really excited about the area, we're going to talk about the importance of moisture. And whether you have relaxed hair or natural hair, we're going to talk about that, and moisture is really important. But I'm going to work with my hair. I always want to do it. And someone asked me about that. And I do this because I want us to know how easy our hair is to manage. So I started out today. I just shampooed last night. So I shampooed. The ideal situation is to shampoo every 3 days and never go past the 7th day. And you hear me talk about that all the time. Now, it's getting warm in most parts of the area of this country right now, because I know this will date our video, but we're getting into more spring, summer. And so you're going to find yourself swimming and more active outside. Environmental pollutants will affect everything that happens. So we have to be really careful to keep our scalp and hair clean. So you may find yourself doing something called a quick fix and shampooing more frequently. And even if you work out, you want to do that as well. But as a rule, you want to shampoo every 3 days or every 7 days. And sometimes you're going to find yourself missing. I mess up, but you just get back, dust yourself off, dust, get back on track and just keep going. So I'm going to show you something to do with I do with my hair. The reason why I mentioned the shampooing and I'm going to work with my hair is because many ladies will think that once I get my hair in place, once it's all there, I need to leave it alone and move on, because if I mess with it, it's going to be a problem. But this is simply not true. I started today, I shampooed last night, and I started today with just a frizzy fro, because that's one of my favorites. So I put some hydration on my hair, and I talk about my products all the time. One of my favorite, hydration. And then I put on our naturally textured. I let the hydration sit for about 5 minutes. Then I put natural textured on, and then I put and that's naturally textured. And then I put on my swatchy. And I put the headband. And I always wear one that's worn, because I want you guys to know, and you can see these little pieces that are sticking up. Those are like little pieces of nylon ribbon. And that's really what this band is about. It's just, it's got little air holes, and it's just kind of woven, and it has all these little nylon ribbons through it, which are wonderfully friendly for the hair and the scalp. And then I use just a scrunchie that really has a little bit of nylon in it, but it's cotton as well, but it's friendly to the hair, and it doesn't show, it's not the rubber band, so that it doesn't, as long as you're not pulling it really tight and sleeping in it, I think you're good with that. So I always use blue. You can see it against my hair. And then I take it down, and then I just start doing different things to my hair. So I haven't taken my hair down. It's been up for about an hour. Right before the show, I generally try to put it up while I'm still in my office working on my computer. And so I always start, and this is one of the best ways to stretch your hair out. So you can see I'm stretching my hair out. It has a nice natural shine. And I'm just let's start with shaking it. And let's move it. Let's see what happens. And you see what's happening here? Gravity. It says, okay, we're getting too long to be a round fro. So it's like flowing down, but that's okay, because whatever this is doing, I'm going to follow it. Okay, so I think I like that little opening there. So I'm going to leave that. And I'm just going to play with the sides, bring those down, and lift a little bit here and here. Let's see if I can scoot over just a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to go this way. There we go. Now you can see me. All right, so here, and I have to let my collar down, because there we go. You know how I love to pop my collar, guys. And I'm just going to let this follow. And then I'm just going to bring that down here and bring that down just a little bit there, and lift this up in the back a little bit, and just keep that opening going. Now, I may ruin it, but we'll see. This beautiful thing about our hair, and it'll just do it. It's just wonderful. So this gives me an opportunity to use that little opening and just kind of play with it there. So I don't have like a lot of the thing about our natural hair, you don't have to have that little total structured set look. You can just kind of feel with it, and you're fluffing it out. And if I decide to do something different, I can actually do that. Let's see, is this acceptable? Yeah. I really like better. I like trying to bring this forward. But what I found is if I would take this part and just kind of fluff it this way and bring some of this down and just let the opening be more in the crown and have the hair coming, see, like this, then it softens up my eyes a little bit. So, it emphasizes that area on my face, and I can have that little frizzy wisp of hair hanging right on my eyebrows or over my eyebrows, and just kind of, I don't know, it's pretty cool. I like it. So, but anyways, guys, we're going to get to the book. I see you guys are now logged in and you're ready for the book. We're in week 16 of Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. Get ready. Make sure you are sending your questions. I'm going to see if I can get some chat going. I should be able to get your questions in. And we're going to talk about moisture and why it's so important for us to have moisture in our hair. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. What do you guys think? Think that's pretty cool? Yeah, I like. It's kind of that tousled, unkept doesn't sound right, does it? But just, you know, the little, I got up and I didn't fuss over my hair look. I think, yeah, see, just in the front, that little bang there. Cool. Like it. I like it. Okay, so let's see. Let me make sure that I've got you guys logged in for my, let's see if we can get another. Yeah, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's take a look. We'll go back to, let's X that out and let's go back and see if we can't find this week. And we're going to, yeah, week 16. Let's see if I can put you over here and see if we'll have a nice chat. We can't find this week. I'm going to turn the sound off on there. And then I want to make sure. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Akbari. How often should women color? You guys are ready for me today, aren't you? Wow. You said, okay, so super. I'll start with questions. It says, hi, Dr. Akbari. How often should women of color use a relaxer? Thanks. Relaxer, it doesn't, women of color and a woman with curly hair, you relax the hair to straighten it, but in order to relax the hair, you need natural hair. So natural hair is going to be the hair that's either just medium degrees of kinkiness, kind of a wave pattern to it, or a would have to say a extreme degree of kinkiness, or whatever degree, and you're wanting to get rid of that kinkiness. So you want to relax the hair and only relax that portion. So the way you would do this, and I want to make sure I've still got sound. Let me go back to where I was, and I'm going to answer the question now. Yes, I got sound. Okay, so what you want to look at, you want to look at how the hair grows. The average adult hair will grow a half an inch about every 4 to 8 weeks. You want to stay on the other side of 10 weeks because you need a perfect line of difference or demarcation. I like to call it the line of difference, where the new growth ends and the chemically treated hair begins, because the process of relaxer is to soften, straighten, then dissolve. So if you relax hair and you overlap, that's the big fear. The big danger is to overlap. So if you overlap hair that's already relaxed, then you're going to, and if it's relaxed straight, you're going to thin. So that's why it's important to not go past the straightness. So if you have a straight relaxer and you're wanting to get a retouch on that straight relaxer, you need natural new growth and only straighten that. So in about 10 weeks, you should have enough. So I would say, to answer your question, about 10 to 12 weeks, that would be the best to relax your hair. Now, if you're going to do 10 to 12 weeks, you need a new growth management style. You need a style for your fresh relaxer until challenged. That means if you're challenged at week 5 with new growth, you need to switch over from that fresh relaxer to a style like your wrap or your flat iron or whatever straight style you're wearing. You want to switch over to your style that's focused on curly hair. So you want to do if you're roller wrapping your hair, then you want to use a style that's going to be in a roller about 2 sizes smaller than the larger one. If you've been flat ironing or if you've been blow drying, all that, you got to quit that. You need to do either a twist back and a curly look, or twist out with relaxed hair. You can do that. You would twist the hair and then roll the twist, or you need to do a roller set, but you need to look at your dryer time. We just need to really look at all the things that are related to your hair and scalp to determine what that curly style should be. But in other words, you need two categories of style. You need a fresh relaxer style, and then you need a new growth management style. Okay, so I hope that helps. 10 to 12 weeks with two categories of style: fresh relaxer and new growth management style. The next question: I ordered your book, your program for hydrated hair, and the Get the Length program with the book. Okay, what do you do with different textures of hair when it comes to hair products? I have 3 to 4 different textures, which is hard to deal with. Yes, it looks, oh, my hair looks good. Thank you, dear. Okay, now, C. Walker, let me just say this. We want to be sure that what you're meaning by texture. Do you mean texture in terms of the size of your strand, or are you saying texture as how your hair is shaped? Because texture deals with the size of your strand, fine, medium, coarse. Type deals with the shape of your hair. Okay, so if you have extreme kinky or slightly kinky, so I'll need to know that, which will help. But when it comes to dealing with different types of hair, then you have to go toward the type that's the hardest to manage. When you address that type, that part of the hair, then everything else will fall in line and you basically scale back. For example, if you have a program, you have a program for hydrated hair and Get the Length, then you're going to have products in that program that is going to help to manage your driest areas. In the Get the Length, we focus on the ends. This is where you get your length. Your length, you grow from the scalp, you obtain length from the body of your shaft and your ends. So you got to be really careful to pay attention to the body of the shaft. Okay. All right. So focus on that and email me. Email me specific questions of once you get your program or as you get into the program. I'll snag it. That's what I call it. Well, I'll send you a video response saying, okay, you get the free coaching because you are on one of my programs. So you just let me know where you're stuck and I will snag at you and make sure you all stay on track. Okay, cool. All right. So, oh, she said type. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was dealing with type. So yes, that would be that's the one that you want to look at, the one that's hardest to manage. All right. Oh no. Okay, I'll address that in a second. The next question was the shampoo I was using had a pH that was too high. It was a 10 in the 10-point range. And now I'm dealing with hair shrinkage. What is happening more than it used to? Is this a sign of damage? Well, no, it's probably a sign of your moisture level bottoming out. If your moisture level drops severely, then your hair is harder to manage because it's frizzy and it's dry and it will break easy because the moisture levels are really crucial. We're going to talk about why that's so important today in the book. And so with this question, basically what you want to do is start deep conditioning the hair, because generally when your moisture levels bottom out, you don't have the balance. I'll say it. You don't have the balance you need. So what you want to do is start deep conditioning using protein and moisture. I have a conditioner called Protein, Moisture, and Stabilizing. So that'll help to stabilize your hair. And then you want to hydrate daily. So you're using, we have a leave-in conditioner called Hair Vitamin, and we have a moisturizer called Hydration. If you want treatment, those will do it. But if you're trying to get definition in curl pattern, you need to add like some style moisturizers like the Naturally Texture. Understand, I am recommending what I have. If you have a product that's comparable, then I'm not trying to fix something that's not broken. It's not about selling my product. This is about making sure you have what you need, okay? All right, someone said, I emailed you about a month ago and I have not heard back. Oh my, that is not good. I'm so sorry. Email me the same email today and I promise you in 24 hours. Okay? With a snag it. All right, so we've got, okay, thank you. So let's go to the book. Now make sure, guys, if you have a question for me, oops, okay, make sure you continue. I'm going to be checking back and to see, but we're going to go to the book. And today we're going to talk about why is moisture so important. So let me move this over so I can watch for any new, okay. Okay, so I've got you. You guys can hear me. We're good. So we're ready to talk about the book. So my social media person, y'all know her. We love her. And said that I only had pictures with the book near my face when my hair was not fluffed up and styled. So click up. Now you have a chance to get a picture. Let's fluff it all the way up. So she will have options here. So she won't have to post me with a book with my hair tied down, like I'm getting ready to go to bed. And somebody criticized, they said, why are y'all making pictures of you without your hair fluffed up with the book next to you? So here I am. The book, the book, the book. So now you have all those options. All right. All right. So let's go to the book. All right. So the moisture, why is it so important? I mean, that's so crucial. I'm going to read I'm going to read from the book. And then we're going to talk about it, okay, guys, with a little bit of commentary added to this. Kinky hair type, because its shape tends to have, because of its shape, it kind of tends to seem like it has less oil, but it really does have less oil distribution. Now, why is oil distribution important? Now, let's talk about that. When we have our sebaceous glands, it's supposed to secrete oils at our hair close to our scalp. And it's supposed to lubricate our scalp and lubricate our hair shaft. Well, that oil has to work its way down our shaft. Now, when it lubricates this shaft and the scalp, it's doing what? It's sealing in moisture. But if we have that spiral, by the time it's making its way away from the scalp, really, because in many cases we have dry scalp, we're not getting any for the hair. And if we're getting some, it's very little. And with our shampoo habits, we tend to have a very dehydrated scalp. And I'm just saying, and I can elaborate on that if you have a question about anything I'm saying, but just not to belabor that. I'm just going to kind of move on. I want to say we don't have the oils needed on kinky, dry hair. We don't have the oils needed to lubricate our entire shaft. So we don't have that moisture level that's higher. The oil is not moisturizing, it's just sealing in moisture. So we have to layer. We have to moisturize first, and then we have to lubricate and seal. So that's what I mean when I say kinky hair type, because of its shape, tends to have less oil distribution to the strands and can easily be very dry. The spiral structure of the strand makes it virtually impossible for the hair to receive proper natural moisture because it does not get that oil lubrication. Oil seals, remember that. The oil glands must apply some oil to the scalp, but the oil never makes it down that spiral strand all the way to the ends. The further away the end is from the scalp, in other words, the longer the hair is, the less and the more spiral your hair is, the less oil will reach the ends. Okay, this makes kinky hair dry in nature. It's important to moisture your hair before combing your hair. Look at your kinky hair when it's wet. When it's wet, it's 100% hydrated. You know, it's almost like you wish I could freeze frame that. Now, feel the hair, noticing how much softer your natural hair is when it's wet. Take your fingers and slide them through the hair. Sometimes it's even easier, unless it's really damaged cuticle, it's easier to even slide the fingers through when the hair is wet. But now try the same thing when it's dry. When it's dry, it's harder. You get that, you get that resistance. So you feel like, oh, my hair is not manageable. What's wrong with it? But the hair is spiral. So as it dries, it can dry out. That's why deep conditioning is so crucial, because when you deep condition, you're balancing the protein and moisture level. So it's a lot easier. So as it dries, it's not drying out. But also because you have less oil sealing your natural moisture, then your hair is going to be challenged when you're trying to work your fingers through it if you allow it to dry without all the proper leave-in products. Having a higher moisture level allows every individual with natural kinky hair the hair to become more relaxed. In other words, you're not a chemical relaxed, it's just more relaxed. You're and not stuck to the next strand. So it's not doing that crossover. It's spiraling out. So then the hair crosses from the right side of the part. That hair crosses over to the hair on the left side of the part, and it just joins together. And it creates something called webbing. And then it'll create a tangle. Then it'll mat, and then it'll lock. And if you're looking for locks, which is our beautiful expressions, by the way, then that's cool. But if you're looking to have hair you can slide your fingers through, then you need to have that balance of that moisture. You got to have it. Okay. Moisturizing will allow us to comb through our hair without, pulling at it. Okay. All right. I see that you already sent me the email, Ms. Rogers. I love it. And I'm going to, because it just gave me an alert, I am going to answer that as soon as I get off the air. Okay. Or within 24 hours, give me that. Because if somebody catches me when I run out of this studio and they're in my office, I won't get right to it. All right. So now, do we have any questions about moisturizing our hair? Do we all understand why moisture is so important? Now, how do we get moisture to our hair? There are two ways. If you have a question, just chat away. And while you're doing it, I'm going to talk about how we get this moisture to our hair. We want to get it in a very deep way. We want to make sure that we are getting moisture through our deep conditioning. Now, what is deep conditioning? And you're going to hear me talk about deep conditioning a lot on this. You're going to hear me talk about it a lot during the hair section of the book. And you see, we just have a few more pages. One, we want to make sure that we are deep conditioning. And how do we do that? Deep conditioning, first we want to talk about how it helps with our moisture. Deep conditioning will help by balancing the protein and moisture. So many people will say, I'm protein sensitive. Well, you're not really protein sensitive. You're just at a stage where your hair dehydrates when you put protein on. The reason why you feel protein sensitive is because you are not balanced. There's a delicate protein and moisture level that must stay balanced. Our hair needs protein because it's mostly composed of protein, a keratin protein, but it needs moisture. It needs to be hydrated to balance that. So you have to have a conditioner that gives you both protein and moisture. Try to stay as natural as possible. There are some man-made ingredients. I'm not going to talk about ingredients today. I'm going to talk about getting this balance. Now, I already have a product that has the balance. You're welcome to order it online. But let me just tell you, the way you get that moisture is by deep conditioning, and the way you get the deep conditioning working properly to balance the protein and moisture is by sitting under the dryer. You can do it instant, but sitting on the dryer is the way you get it. Why is that? The hair shaft, you need the temperature of the shaft raised to about 200. I think let me let this up just a little bit. For some reason, yeah, here we go. And let me go up. You need the temperature to raise. I just said 200, but you need the temperature to be raised to about 60 degrees. That's going to give you optimum penetration. Now, how do you get the temperature of your hair to raise to 60 degrees? The way you do that is by sitting under the dryer, putting your conditioner on, sitting under the dryer with a plastic cap on medium setting. You don't need to sweat. You don't need to hot. And those of you, steaming is so crucial. It's so important. Not important. It's so popular right now. And you just got to think about that. Steaming causes your scalp and hair, your scalp to sweat. So even though it's opening up your pores of your strand, it's not, you're dumping that waste and salt. So you don't want that. You just want to sit under a dryer, a tabletop or hard head dryer under the dryer in your regular salon, and you want to have the temperature on medium. If you have one of those dryers that tend to overheat on its own, drink some water while you're under the dryer, so your body, it can help to regulate your body temperature so you don't start to sweat. Or if you're just a sweater, or if you're some folks like, I used to be, until I got younger. I used to have personal summers. I no longer have personal summers. How did I get younger? It's my secret. Okay, guys, but anyways, while you're under the dryer, you need to make sure that you sip on cool water. Okay, so you sit under the dryer for, say, 10 minutes after you've applied the conditioner with a plastic cap. After you do that, then you want to go back and you want to take the plastic cap off, take a look at your hair. If your hair looks like it's soaked up the conditioner on the ends or around the hairline, you reapply, work your conditioner in, put the plastic cap on again, sit back under the dryer for another 10 minutes. And you continue to do that till your hair stops absorbing the conditioner. That's the way to get your true deep conditioning. Once the conditioner is just sitting on top, then you know your hair is full. It's like malnourished hair. You really need to do that. So what you want to make sure of is that you do deep condition. That's one way to get it. The other way, deep conditioning is definitely a part of it. It should be a part of your regimen. On a daily basis, and you need to deep condition at least once a week. On a daily basis, you should condition your ends and your hair close to the scalp and work it through, and you want to use a moisturizer. If you have extremely dry hair, you want to start with a wet moisturizer like a leave-in conditioner. Hair Vitamins is my conditioner. And then you can use hydration. And then after hydration, then you should have a nice balance. You can do that. It gives you a really pretty frizzy fro and a shampoo and go. But if you're trying to have definition, you want to use a sculpting moisturizer like my Naturally Texture or my Moisture Plus. Okay, all right, so that's really, really important. Those are the two ways. All right, so let me get to this question and then we're going to go on to some natural styles. Okay, we have a question here. It says, can you give some information on how to take care of toddlers' hair? All right, wow, it depends. Now you said toddler. I just finished a show and I have, let me give you more than that. Let's do this. Let's give you, and I just forgot I could chat too, but I'm just going to put a link on here of my, let's go back. And I'm going to put a link on from my website for little girls of color. That way you will see, let's see if I can get that pulled up. And then you will see how to work with your little girl's hair. There are several things I'm going to do here. One, I'm going to give you a link of my page for children. And on that page for children is hair nutrition for little girls and boys of color. So I'm going to stick that link here. And you're going to, let's get it right there. And let's go back. And let's put it here. Let's see. Here's the link. And then I'm going to put one on a video that I did. Well, actually, it was my last talk show. If you were with me on Sunday, my previous show on Sunday, let's see. Let's get it here. Okay, let's go here and here we go. So there's my the little girls of color and little girls and boys of color. So that will help you a lot. And then also my show that I did on last Sunday was really cool. Let's see if I can go back and let's look here and let's go to as I move over here on my I got one thumbs down. I never get a thumbs down, guys. Who's mad at me out there? I never get a thumbs down. Okay. All right. So just if I'm not answering your questions, that let me know, guys. All right. So with that, here we go. So this one, just email me if you have any questions about anything that's relating to your hair and scalp. Please let me know and I'll try to answer them. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think I had another one. He said, thank you so much. You are so welcome. I think someone wanted to know what's in my product. I use some man-made and some natural ingredients. I have some things listed there, but I do try to list everything on the back of the bottle. So you can see that on the back of the bottle when you work with a product. Specifically, if you're asking a question about it, I'll be more than happy to try to answer that for you. And so let's go back to where we are. Okay, now. Okay, so if we have another, let's see, Dr. Akbari, is it okay to use a semi-permanent color just before you relax your hair? Before you relax your hair, with color, basically the way you want to rotate this is you want to use your colors. Let's move this over. There we go. The way you want to do this is you want to make sure that you are basically putting your relaxer on first. Oh, permanent color. Okay, I didn't read that well. It's not the permanent color before you relax your hair. The way you want to do that when you're coloring and relaxing your hair, you can do both. You want to make sure that you relax your hair that first week. Then you want to deep condition your hair that same day and make sure you deep condition it again. I would say 3 days later. And then within 7 days, if you have healthy hair, then you can do the permanent color. The reason why you layer it that way is because you want to think about the way color works and relaxer works. With relaxer, it's basically changing the structure of your hair. So your hair is going to appear from kinky, it's going to go to straight. So in the cortical fibers, that's in the area of the center, pretty much of the hair, not the medulla, but in the cortical fiber, you have the cuticle, cortex, medulla. So right in that cortical fiber and the cortex, you're going to have structural changes occur. So when your chemicals are applied to your hair, your relaxer is going to change the structural or the shape of your hair, and it's permanent. When you color your hair, you're going into the same area, but there are no complete structural changes done. So you're just either removing color pigments if you have dark hair, or if you have light hair, you're depositing color pigments in your cortical fibers. So you're not making any structural changes. So it's really important that you apply your relaxer first, deep condition, 3 days later, deep condition, then apply your permanent color. And my video is hesitating a little bit, guys, so I hope it's not, I don't know, this is YouTube, so I'm just kind of trying to do that. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys are able to get to me. The other thing you have to keep in mind, in the same fiber, cortical fibers, your strength bonds are held. So if you don't have that balance and layer it properly, you're going to end up with breakage. So you'll end up causing structural damage and you'll lose layers. Your cortex will become exposed. You'll lose the appropriate amount of elasticity that stretched to the hair, and your hair will break. Okay, so be really careful. Now, let's see, the next question was, do you have grays? If so, I guess you're saying, how do I deal with it? I have white friends that come to visit my scalp, and they're here, you know. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Now, how do I deal with it? I don't show them. I don't let them sit up front and, you know, I do color my hair, but I like to use vegetable rinses. We have vegetable rinses that I get from the Middle East, and basically I just I color it, and sometimes you'll see like my hair has a natural brown to it. I'm 44 and green. Well, you're a baby and you're green, so that's okay. Welcome to the club. It's okay. But the one thing is you don't have to let your white hair stay. Now, so what you do, the vegetable rinse is the easiest. It's basically plant and dehydrated plant and water. Now you can use henna, but if you use henna, you have to deep condition, and you really have to make sure that you use a rinse, that a henna that's going to not stain and not because some of them have man-made. You want to try to get as pure as you can. Go to your health food stores. You can generally find them. They will tell you want a pure dehydrated plant, or just say I want a pure henna, and I want a henna that gives me dark hair, or a henna that gives me red tones, because depending on the plant, that's going to determine the color of your hair. So that's pretty much how that works. But no, 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 dear, I don't let my little white friends stay. I love them, but I don't let them stay in the front of the house. They have to be covered. Okay. All right, guys. So yeah, this has been great. We were going to talk about, we've got about 15 minutes left. Questions, keep them coming, keep them coming. And if we don't get to it this week, we'll start talking about natural styles. But I just want you to know, I know that, oh, let's see. Let's see. Wait a minute. I think I skipped some stuff. Let's go in here. Having a higher moisture level allows each individual strand kinky hair to become more relaxed and not stuck to the hair next. Yeah, I mentioned the neighbor crossing over to the right and left, blah, blah, blah. Moisturizing will allow you to comb through the hair. I mentioned that. Now, I know that not all of you feel this way, but there are many women who go natural and use this as an excuse not to deal with their natural hair. Let's look at braids. We want to talk about some natural hairstyles, okay? But let's look at braids first. Let's look at dreadlocks and other natural styles. These styles may not be combed for weeks or even months. Some people will put oils on their hair. They'll spray oils on. They'll put different fragrances on. They'll put braid spray on. They'll do all these things. Hair must not only be groomed to look good, but the scalp and hair must be cleaned and conditioned. If you wear natural styles, you must not forget about your scalp and hair. In your hair, your scalp and hair will still require of you the appropriate amount of care. I remember one lady that wore locks, and because of lack of care, they began to just simply fall off. They were just kind of rotting away. I have also met many women who wear locks, braids, and other styles that have healthy scalp and a healthy hair. If you choose to wear these styles, be sure to just do your research. And you know, there's a lot out there about locks, and I'll get some criticism and some thumbs down maybe. I hope not, but I just want to make sure that I tell you the truth and just so that you can protect and preserve your hair, because that's really what's crucial. You really have to protect and preserve your hair and scalp in order to have hair. Like, even though healthy hair now and for years to come, even though I have natural hair, my fro has body. And I just want us to feel like we could, take our fingers through and our fro is soft. I want you to feel like you can feel good about your hair, but you have to take care of it. I mean, you really do. You have to take care of your hair and scalp. And that's what we just believe, that growing natural or wearing braids or locks, or these are zero maintenance, and they're just not. And again, I know I'll get criticism from this, but I'm just letting you guys know that it's really important for us to think about this when we're working with our hair. Natural kinky hair with its multiple degrees of kinkiness, and that could be on one head, just like the I think it was Miss Walker earlier was saying that she has different types of hair, 3 or 4 different types. Well, that can happen for various reasons. Um, we we have a special care that and needs we must address in order to maintain that health, just as natural straight hair does. Natural straight hair, chemically relaxed hair, you just have to take care of it. Hair is just dead keratinized cells. It's just like when someone tells you you should trim your ends. Trimming your hair is for grooming purposes and to remove split ends. It's not to help grow your hair, but if you treat your hair, you don't have to trim it. I haven't trimmed my hair it's been more than a year, for sure. Maybe, even more than, I don't know if it's been 2 years, but it's been a long time. And I treat my hair. I treat my ends every day, so I don't have to worry about it. But if I wanted to press out my hair and wear an even bob, then I would need to trim it because it wouldn't be even. So for grooming purposes or to remove split ends. Now, if I want to remove my split ends, I can treat my split ends instead of removing them. The reason why your stylist will tell you things like you should trim every 6 or 8 weeks or however often she says you should trim, is because if you don't trim your hair, you're going to split and peel up into the healthier hair, and your hair won't obtain length. So you either treat it or trim it. If you don't trim it, you have to treat it. And if you don't treat it, you have to trim it. And so that's the reason they tell you. So don't be so hard on your stylist thinking they're just trying to cut your hair. But I have patients who have chronic split ends. So what the stylist is trying to do is cut till they get to the healthier ends, and they end up cutting too much and you're not happy. And what chronic split ends will mean, chronic split ends just says that if you trim your hair 2 weeks later, it still looks split because it's split down the shaft. It's not just split on the ends, it's split down the body of the shaft. But if you're trying to cut away dead ends, then if you're trying to cut away, I love you back. Mwah! She said, that is why I love you, Dr. Period. Well, I love you back, Ms. Rogers. But if you're trying to cut away the dead ends, you have to shave your hair literally to cut away the dead ends. Your hair, once it emerges from your scalp, is dead. The only part that's alive is the part that's under your skin in the dermis where the hair is being produced. Once it emerges, it's just dead, keratinized cells. And what we're doing is we're protecting and preserving our dead strands. So it'll look like it's alive, it has body and movement, and it stays. And it obtains length. And the way it attains length and the way it stays is by us taking care of our hair. Okay? So remember that, guys. Alrighty now. Okay, so we're just about out of time, but I'm going to go a little deeper. Let's see if you have any other questions for me, guys, then please, please, please ask away and I will answer. And I'm definitely going to try to get to Ms. Rogers as soon as I get offline to make sure I give her a snagget. Okay, so we have a question. One last question. My hair used to be the darkest black. As I am aging, my hair in the crown has changed to light orange, brown. What gives? Let's see. Let me pull over so I can see that. I did the big chop and I'm so puzzled. So you did the big chop. You don't wear any chemicals at all. Do you use heated tools on your hair? So I'm gonna wait for her to answer that question for me as we go further into the book, because there's a slight delay. So you'll hear in just a second, she'll grab it. Okay, so kinky hair, the multiple textures, degrees, da da da. I'm waiting on Miss Walker to type in no. So she said she doesn't, you don't use the heated tools, you just basically wear natural styles. All right. What happens, there's several reasons why our hair will lighten up. Our Color forming pigments are found in the cortex. No heat, I'm natural, no nothing. Okay, cool. Our color forming pigments are found in the cortex. The way you lighten up your hair, if your cortex becomes exposed either through chemicals or heat, that's one way. The other way is through the cortex being open. So for example, if you find yourself someone who have detangle all the time, then what you're doing is you're creating these microscopic tears along your hair shaft or your hair strand. Those tears will cause your cortical fibers to become exposed eventually. Then your hair will be exposed to the environment. Sun, it's easier to bleach it out. Swimming in chlorine, it's easier to bleach it out. Those kinds of things will affect your hair. So you can just handle your hair and tear your cuticle, cortical fibers become exposed, and then your hair will begin to lighten up. So my recommendation is to really look at not creating tangles, so there's no tangles to remove. If you don't create the tangles, you won't have to remove them. I'm going to put a link on that talks about detangling. Now I have videos on detangling, and before we get out of here, let me get this link. Let's see if I can go to my page. Here we are. Okay, we'll go here and let's look up detangling. And you know what? I think I have it on my, yeah, I know where I can find it. I want to do it really quickly. So let's see. Let's go in here. Let's go under. The cool thing about this streaming is I can do all kinds of things on my computer and you will never ever see it. I can pull up stuff and it doesn't show. Now when I snag it, everything shows up. So what I'm going to do is put this. Let's see if we got, here we go. Nope. I'm sure they're under here somewhere. Where are you? Get them up. I'm gonna pull, here we are. So here we go with the link on how to detangle. So it's a part 1 and 2. And really, you're not really detangling. You're basically not creating a tangle. So there's no tangle to remove. So here we go. Let's put this here. Oops, did I lose? Okay. Don't want to lose you guys. There we go. So you have part 1 and part 2. Oh, part 2. There we are. So that's on detangling. So now you have a video that you can go to. These are just YouTube videos that you can go to that you'll be able to detangle without tearing your hair. Because really, when you tear your hair, you are exposing your cuticle, as I said earlier. So what you want to look at, not creating a tangle. That's the ideal. That's ideally, but that doesn't happen. We tend to shampoo improperly. We tend to do things because we have the shape of our hair. It tends to tangle. Follow that technique and remove tangles, not with a comb, not with a brush, but remove tangles with product. That means you want to get to the core of that tangle and get that tangle to be removed. If you do that, then you're going to find you're able to slide your fingers through. So without tearing, what this video will do is show you me actually working with my hair and showing you how to do what I call the technique ear to ear, front to back. And I'm using my hydrating detangling souffle, which is, I call it my cheat product, because you guys, let's face it, many people have very dry, dehydrated hair, and you need a little help. You need a little help, because I really hesitated and I was very resistant to putting a detangling product out, because I thought, well, I can teach you how to take care of your hair so you don't have to tangle, or you won't have that problem. But you know, we're faced with that. We're faced with this problem where we are tangled. So if we're faced with a tangle issue, then we've got to do things to help. And that's what this is about. So now you have your links right there. Wow, we're out of time. Well, we're right at 59. So if there's one other question, if someone else has another question for me, I will answer that question for you. Other than that, otherwise, I'm going to see you guys. Thank you. I can't wait to get my programs. Yay, I want that. Will you define the terminology length? Okay. All right, get the length. When we talk about length, there, I can't wait. I mean, let's talk about get the length. If you mean terminology length or terminal, I'm hoping I'm getting this right. Terminal length define. I just want to make sure I'm getting right what you're asking me, dear. But if you're looking at length itself and trying to obtain length, then basically you get length from your ends. That means your hair longer length. That's what we're speaking of. And you obtain growth from your, and let me just go back to see if I'm getting this wrong. You get your growth from your scalp. So you have, let's take a look and let me do a quick little, make sure I've got this right and I'm defining this the way you are looking at it. And let's go back, and I know it's 7, but I want to ask, did you have one last question? But I want to make sure I get this question answered for you. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I'm just. Okay. Because terminology varies, and I just wanted to be sure I understood what you were actually asking me. If you were asking me to define length, or you were asking me to define, let's go back. Let's go back. We're going to take that one out because that is not a good one to be on. And, you know, sometimes things just take too long on the internet to get to, especially when there's a bunch going on. Here we go. Let's see here. Let's try this once again. What we have here. All right. I want to make my hair. See, when we think about length, we're talking about, now let's talk about length itself so you understand how our length is determined. And I think we could close with this one because this is going to be great. The way we determine what length of hair we'll have is it's going to be genetically linked. When you have hair, that your hair average strand is going to grow at about 1/2 inch on the average adult. Now this is average, as long as there's nothing going on within the body system. Of course, genetics play a role. Medication, health of the body will play a role, but you're going to grow about 1/2 inch every 4 to 8 weeks. So if we think about that, if you say, even if some people under 20 or 20 or younger, and it could be genetics, can grow 1/2 inch or 1 inch every month, then if they're growing 1 inch every month, then they're at 12 months, they got 12 inches. If they're growing 1/2 inch every month, they got 6 inches in a year. So your hair is going to stay on your head in its growth cycle. It could be 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. When you have hair, like some of the images online, they show hair down to the floor. Now that hair, in unlocked hair, now we're not talking about hair with locks, and I'll talk about that in a second. Hair that's just straight or naturally kinky or whatever, if that hair is length, waist length or beyond, then you can have, on average, you can have up to 24 inches of hair. Beyond that, it's going to be genetics, and it's going to be a length based on how that hair, other than genetics, it's going to be based on how that hair is protected. For example, if you wear braids or locks, you can obtain your full 24 inches of hair and beyond based on your genetics. So if you get 24 inches and you've been wearing braids, so you're at 24 inches, then that's what's within your genetics, then that's what you're going to have. But if you have beyond that, that means you'll probably notice and you'll look in your family line that women had very long hair or men and it grew that length. Other than that, you have to wear locks. If you wear locks, then everything that sheds away gets locked into the locks and it all stays and it will obtain length. Also, if you wear braids, you're going to have everything that's there and it's going to obtain length. When you take the braids out, then the natural hair that was shedding is going to come away and you're going to lose some of your length. But your hair length is determined by genetics, and you have the average head of hair on the average individual who's healthy is going to have hair that is 24 inches. That's your average. Now, any longer than that is all genetics. Okay, so I hope that has helped, and I hope it hasn't been confusing. And you know what, guys? We could definitely, absolutely, positively do another show on that. Said my hair grows and it stops. It grows. Listen, my hair grows and it stops at a certain length. If I cut it, it will grow but stops at a certain length. See, this is what I'm saying, guys. When your hair grows, your hair is not, it's not stopping. If your hair was stopping its growth, you would actually bald. You would have bald spots. There's a growth cycle. The hair is growing. It goes into this an anagen stage. Then it begins to shed. It starts to rest and shed, and then it falls off. Then it rests, and then it goes back into the growth cycle again. So if your hair did not go back, come out of that shedding and resting stage, then it would have a bald spot there. So if you have hair, but it's not long, it's not that your hair is not growing, it's just your hair is not obtaining length. So you have to start, in order to get the length, that's a big part of our Get the Length program. And I have a lab product that I've created called Ends, and it's designed just to really help people obtain length because it literally seals the ends. So you won't find it on my site. You'd have to, I usually just recommend it to my patients, but if you have a chronic situation where you're not obtaining length, then you can email me, lisaakbari.com. That's Lisa at LISAAKBARI.com, and then ask me for Ends, ENDS. That's a product I have, and then I can send you one of our lab products. So I'll have someone, a consultant, contact you and get all that taken care of. So that's what's happening. Your hair is growing, but it's probably breaking as fast as it's growing. Okay, guys, you know I've gone over, but I came on late. So I just have to say to you, I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and I just love you guys so much. I thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. I thank you so much for sticking with me, even though I stayed over. And thank you for logging in, even though I was late getting on. I will see you next week. And next week, well, yeah, in two ways. One, I'm going to see you on my show, and I will post and send an info. Oh, you're so welcome. I just love you guys. But I'm going to, this week on my show, I'm going to talk about relaxed hair. And this is my show on the radio. So if you don't have an iHeart app, you can download that for free, an iHeart app, and then you can tune in anywhere in the world. You'll be able to get my radio talk show. I have a radio talk show called Ask the Hair Doctor, and it'll be on Sunday after church, after dinner, after you're ready to kick back and relax. And it's called Ask the Hair Doctor. We're going to talk about relaxed hair. I'm excited about that because a lot of folks, I know I'm natural. Most of my folks who I see are natural. My followers, my subscribers are natural. But I have many, many patients who are relaxed, and we need to address that. And then I have some of you guys who are transitioning. So we're going to talk about relaxed hair. We're going to talk about transitioning as well. And we're going to talk about new growth management, because some of you are relaxing. You're not going to transition. You want your relaxed hair, and that's okay too. Okay? But we're going to talk about that in my show. It's on Sunday, this Sunday, and it's going to be from 5 p.m. Central Standard Time to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on WDIA. And I can put a link there. Let's see if I can go to that on WDIA. And wow, y'all are really hanging in there with me. I just love y'all for that. Let's go to 1070 WDIA. And let's see if we can get that link. And then you will see WIA, okay, and that's Memphis. And then we're going to, I'll be on this Sunday, and we're going to talk about Relaxed Hair, as I said. Let's go in and find this link. OJ, that's going to go back to my site. Okay, so it'll take you right to my site. So I'm going to give you the two links. I'm going to give you my link to my website, and then I'm going to give you a link to WDIA over here. Okay, so let's get that in. Okay, are you there? Okay, and then I'm going to go back, and we're going to get a link to the WDIA page, and we're going to get their website, iHeart. And all you have to do is click on where it says the blogs, and just click on Ask the Hair Doctor, and I come on at that time. So we'll go back to, well, you've got WDIA, and then let's go back to my site. Let's go back and Ask the Hair Doctor. There we are. And there it is. And now I've done pretty good giving these links to you guys. I'm pretty excited about that. And then we're going to have, there we go. Now, so you have those. So, okay, guys. Well, I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor. To God be the glory in Jesus. Thank you guys so much. I love you so much. I went 11 minutes overtime today, but it was worth it because you guys are so worth it. And I just want to make sure I give you plenty of information on what you need. So I will see you on Sunday. And we're going to talk about relaxed hair and transitioning and all those things. And also, like I said, I have the links there for you. And then I'll see you back here next week on the blog. And I'm here on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. We've got the beautiful hair. And I think we're getting, there we go, the book. And Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. And we're going to continue talking about natural hair. We're going to talk about caring for natural kinky hair and combing and removing tangles. Ooh, make sure you tune in. So love you guys. I'll see you next time. God bless you. To God be the glory in Jesus. We'll talk soon.